don't tell me why. I know, no, no, you won't save my life. Save my life. Baby, keep on, you're making the waves. You and I will never be saved.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Upsurge Premier League. My name is Sparky, and I am joined once again by Formal, the man from down under. So, Formal, how are you doing for you this morning?
Yeah, you know what? I'm surprisingly chipper, all things considered. You wouldn't even know. I just woke up 15 minutes ago to get into this, but I have to wake up to see two undefeated teams play, right? That's just kind of the rule.
I'm so sorry, Formal. I wasn't getting any of the audio from you, but everybody else did, so I missed everything you said.
Fair enough. I mean, no, that's good that the important people can hear me. Let's just put it that way. Yes, you control the stream. Yes, you control pretty much everything technical wise right now, but not the important people are those watching. I understand where the priorities are.
I'd say, hey, it's all good. We're gonna get this all figured out. But today, so we have SlaughterHouse versus Cheese, two undefeated teams out of the Octane Conference. So a battle for first place tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be a really, really good match. I feel I have high expectations for this one. I think this could be, one of those potential playoff previews, maybe even a grand final preview if the brackets allow for it. I'm not entirely sure if it's sort of like, an NFL situation where at the end of it, it's the Octane versus the Dominus championship, or if the brackets kind of get mixed up. Either way, these are two teams that are definitely gunning for that top spot so far. I mean, neither of them have lost a series, so a lot on the line in that regards. This is going to be a very fun matchup.
So while we talk about the standings, let's switch on over to that so we can get a glance at how things are shaping up in both conferences. So last week, we saw Northwood get the 3-1 win, and they move on to number 2 in the Dominus Conference. Bing Bong still holding that number 1 spot, only dropping 1 game throughout the entire season. Over on the Octane Conference, the one that we're focusing on tonight, Cheese and SlaughterHouse 1-2. It's a matter of a 1-game loss. SlaughterHouse ended up going to 5 games last week against Vexo Esports, and that's where they have that difference right now, is just that 1 game. So really tight.
Yeah, what I'm most impressed with so far, though, is like how much both of these teams are like pretty much the exact same synchronized leagues at this stage in terms of standings and placement. So I don't know. I find that always fascinating when things are playing out similarly. You can see that like in the Octane and the Dominus Conference. But to go back to your point, with Vexo nearly being able to take out SlaughterHouse, that can go one of two ways. That's either means that SlaughterHouse may have been shooting above their bridges so far, and perhaps maybe they aren't this undefeated powerhouse and they've just been kind of squeaking through, or that was kind of a one-off and now they're going to come into this game just more motivated than ever.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I think it's going to be a really good match. I could definitely see this one going to 5 games. Granted, we did say that last week, and we ended up getting a little bit shorter of a series, but you never know. You never know what to expect when it comes out of Rocket League, really, is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's whoever sort of wins on the day will be the one who takes it. So as we're waiting to kick things off right now, I'm very curious to see which team is showing up a bit more awake, a bit more alert. I think both these sides would be happy to know I'm not on their team because, as mentioned before, we're still getting there. We're still waking up. I'm sure this is going to perk up quickly, and I don't know who's going to take it. Like, based on the names alone, you would think SlaughterHouse, but considering their recent struggles, Cheese should have that motivation and should have the I suppose the advantage in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I've had the pleasure of seeing both teams on stream. I've had SlaughterHouse outside of the Upsurge Premier League. I've had them in the Premier League. I've had Cheese on stream. We had them, I think, 2 weeks ago. We saw them dominate against the Huskies. I've seen SlaughterHouse, they dominate against Quick Chat, isn't toxic. So it's really, both teams are very strong, very offensive focused. So we'll see if that's going to be the case here tonight. But as we get ready to get the teams in here, Formal, something else you wanted to add?
No, I was just thinking when you have two teams that are usually, strong offensive rotations, again, it goes back to that emphasis of that good, strong first defensive touch. And I'm curious which team is actually going to find themselves being the aggressor, I suppose, first. Because, like, each team, obviously, from what you're telling me, probably can establish, something a bit tight, play that mid pitch, not provide their opponents that many opportunities. Sometimes in those matchups, they can go one of two ways. Either, one team, whoever gets that kickoff, just kind of controls the tempo from start to finish. Or one team might actually fall back and play a bit more defensively, kind of mix things up and maybe even look for that counterattack, wait for their opponents that they know are aggressive to get that little bit over aggressive because they have that added dimension to their play style. And I find that very interesting, and I'm curious how both these teams approach it if they do play similarly.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how they decide to take on this first game, because that first game can sometimes be a catalyst for how the series is going to go, but we'll have to wait and see. We're going to head on over here. A word from our sponsors as we get the teams in here for our match of the night.
Started with a vision of quality, a vision of uniformity.
We took the time to create something familiar yet refreshing, something with a bit of change.
Designed to fit any brand's unique vision.
I'm just getting started. I've been making moves before the dawn, cutting through the darkness. And I can go on and on and on and on and on.
If you are looking to take your game to the next level, it all starts with your peripherals. From keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more, our friends at Kono have got you covered. Kono works with the world's best designers, inventors, and makers to bring you some of the best gaming peripherals around. Kono have been huge supporters of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pool. If you need a new keyboard, check out the Hexgears X1 RGB low-profile Bluetooth mechanical keyboard. You can use the discount code UpsurgeGG for 7% off your first order. For more information, head over to kono.store to check out all they have to offer. That's KONO.store. Kono, discover amazing products. The Uniform Esports Association is a Kansas-based company that oversees multiple products that specialize and operate as a dynamic pipeline within the esports industry, providing shared experiences that directly serve collegiate, youth, hobbyists, and amateur video game players at every stage. Starting as a small student group out of Wichita State University, since then, UEA has grown to be a veteran organizer to tournaments and events throughout the United States. They host tournaments for games like League of Legends, Rocket League, as well as Overwatch. For more information, check them out at uea.gg. All right, so it looks like we have just about everybody in here, so we are ready to get this game underway. So before we hop on in, Formal, who do you think is going to take this one?
Again, I think I mentioned it before. I'm leaning more towards Cheese today. I think SlaughterHouse and their struggles, I don't know. Maybe it's a symptom of other teams that I'm starting to see struggle and fall apart in other leagues. But if that trend is continuing, I'm going to go with the team that's coming in a bit hotter. That would be Cheese in this one. So I'm going with them. Plus, I'm hungry.
I mean, that is a good reason to go with the team with the food-themed name. I'm going to have to go on the split side, so we're going to be split here in the booth. I'm going with SlaughterHouse. I don't think it's going to be an easy win, but I think they'll be able to edge it out. I feel like this is going to be a 5-game series. Both teams, again, as we said earlier, very strong offensively, but SlaughterHouse coming off that struggle from last week, while Cheese ended up having a very strong performance. So let's get enough of us talking here. I think we're all ready to get this game started, so let's have the players get on down to the field and get this thing rolling.
Yeah, as you can see right away, I'm tempted to sort of change my pick actually back around just because Bacon over there on that SlaughterHouse side. I mean, look, I love Cheese, but I think I love Bacon that little bit more. Either way, we are kicking off. This is game one of our best of 5 pixels. Going to take it straight down the middle, put on a first shot, a little bit to the left. Second man, Bacon stopped by Kaiju, and that's going to be that first big clear.
It's a very aggressive off the start here from SlaughterHouse. Both teams were in a tournament earlier today. I don't know how the results of that went, but very quick start for SlaughterHouse. A quick shot there from K-Frost gets set aside as Drewski now trying to get around the corner. Gets the demo on Pixel, but ends up being forced to the middle of the field, and Bacon will send it right back into that corner.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about before, you know, when I learned how both of these teams like to play aggressively and saying, you know, that counterattack game might become relevant. Well, it actually appears both these teams are kind of opting for that counterattack game in this one. Just get that big first touch and sort of race it down the field, balls to the wall, see what you can pull off. And that usually leads for a very exciting series. I think there's going to be a lot of near misses, a lot of clutch hits if the game continues at this pace, at this speed, with these kinds of play styles.
So a good opportunity there on the blue end there. We saw a nice fake leading into an opportunity. Just unfortunately was not able to get the shot on Kaiju, sorry. Able to get the shot. It's going to be wide of the corner. Drewski pops the ball up. Night Panda trying to get it through, but gets dunked on by K-Frost. Pixel has some time to set up the offense, but not a great touch as Drewski looking for the shot. It's a bit high, but it could be an opportunity as Kaiju getting in. It's going to be off the back wall yet again. We see a double with Panda and Bacon, but it's going to be cleared out by Night Panda. But the trouble not out of the way yet. A shot bottom corner, but Bacon makes the save. Only a minute and a half in, he already has 3 saves on the board.
I still can't believe Drewski went for more of a backboard pass than a shot before. It did look pretty open, and a lot of that just had to do with, I think, a little slower reaction time from SlaughterHouse, mixed with the fact perhaps boost wasn't entirely there. Either way, Drewski went for a pass, and his team wasn't exactly ready for it. They were already rotating back, expecting that counterattack, so a little bit disorganized from the Cheese attacking front. However, they still were able to keep that pressure on for a good extended amount of time, just like I think they're about to try now. That's a big swing and a miss down the middle. It's the slow shot that actually turns into the first goal. Kaiju making it 1-0.
And right here off the back wall, we see a double commit between Bacon and Night Panda. We see both of them trying to get in and I don't know if they were trying to pinch the ball out or just make the clear, but an unfortunate start for them here. Just past 2 minutes into the game, and it's a 1-0 lead for Cheese. While we have a break in the game, Fenrir Wolf saying that SlaughterHouse lost in the round of 35 for today's tournament that they were in. Cheese managed to get 5th place, so they're coming off a really hot performance earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly, you know. Well, I'm going to switch my pick yet again. What is that, 3 times now in one game? Yeah, I clearly like to stick to my laurels. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. Either way, though, it's easy to see, actually, with just how more consistent Cheese has been on the attacking half in this one. Yes, you know, I was a little critical of that one shot from Drewski, but at the same time, it does feel as if they are playing that little bit faster. Their attacks are, you know, 1 or 2 shots longer, and that equals more opportunities, which typically means higher scores. Pixel a chance right here, though, especially with that whiff from Drewski, the K-Frost, just able to steal the ball right off that side wall. The control is immaculate. However, Bacon, recognizing 2 attackers did commit, is able to steal it off, and Pixel with a chance a little bit too slow to make it happen.
Yeah, and as you were saying, K-Frost had some really good control there, trying to get the ball into the blue end, but he unfortunately couldn't do it. We're seeing a lot of control start to come out now from the Cheese end. They're starting to take some more solo opportunities as they move downfield. K-Frost going to try and wait back on this, pops it up. Night Panda ends up misjudging where that was headed, is able to get it through K-Frost, but a Pixel 50 managing to get control as Kaiju waiting in the corner. Very dangerous play as he drops it down. It's not going to get through, though, as Drewski heading downfield.
That was such a risky pass, but it pays off, and it looks so beautiful. So once again, we are seeing Cheese on the attack. Something that you brought up, though, was that solo play. And yeah, it's actually been a lot of solo plays, as it tends to be, you know, when you're going for this sort of counter-attack style. A lot of it does have to do with, you know, getting your touch and driving it down yourself and trying to make that play happen while the defense is reeling. That said, though, I wouldn't mind seeing more players actually cheat down the pitch for some of those pitch passes in this game. This could be the exact type setup where those sort of scoring opportunities do pay off. So if each of these teams have those sort of pass plays in their arsenal, which I think they do based on the skill that I've seen thus far, that might be the ticket to start blowing these score lines wide open.
Yeah, we've seen SlaughterHouse really struggling to get out of their zone. They're kind of flat when it comes to transitioning from defense to offense as we see an opportunity come in here as they can't get the clear. Shot bottom corner, but Bacon getting yet another save. He is just racking them up here with 30 seconds left to go. Still only a 1-goal lead as Drewski keeps the attack on. Back while looking for the double. Isn't going to get it as it gets cleared aside. Kaiju coming in. Shot just wide of the post. It's sitting right there as Bacon will get it around K-Frost. Drewski now has an opportunity, but a good read by Pixel on the sidewall. 10 seconds left to go, and it's still only 1 goal separating the two. Can't get it through, and I think that's going to be game number 1.
Yeah, let's see if the 0-second shenanigans can happen one way or the other. Right now, it actually could be Cheese adding to the scoreline, but eventually the ball will drop. SlaughterHouse, Pixel, I feel for him because he saw the opening. He saw that pass avenue, but the team was not with him. This was with about 13 seconds remaining. If someone else on the team had been pushing forward with him, that was going to be a goal, but unfortunately, a little bit too defensive-minded towards the end there with SlaughterHouse. They weren't really going for that big clutch push at the end, and that happens when you're forced to make 4 saves in one game in near succession, especially towards the start. It can affect your team's mental, so SlaughterHouse, they never really able to get those consistent attacks going. Cheese more than doubled the shots taken right now. So despite it being a 1-0 scoreline, it actually felt a lot more one-sided than that.
Yeah, I was about to bring up that fact. The fact that they had that many shots and there was only 5 saves made, that just goes to show how much pressure there was in the blue end throughout most of that game. And it felt like we were struggling just to get out of the SlaughterHouse zone. Now, granted, that could always be the fact that SlaughterHouse is maybe taking that first game a little bit slower, trying to figure out how to get around Cheese. The defense obviously held up to some degree, only giving up 1 goal. But that can only hold up for so long, as we've seen in past weeks, where if there's just an onslaught of shots, something is going to give, and we're going to see a huge breakthrough if that keeps up.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if I'm on that SlaughterHouse side, I think you need to disguise your defense a little bit more moving forward. If you want to go for this counterattack style, you can't really be as apparent as they were. They're going to have to need a fallback, make that, clutch save, send someone cheating down the pitch, and instead of trying to dribble it solo, go for those deep passes. Even the backward pass that Pixel kind of went for at the end there isn't good enough. You got to pass it forward and down the pitch off of great defensive touch. It's a little bit riskier, but it will give you more opportunities if you pull it off to break that sort of mid-pitch line. So let's see what happens. At the moment, it's looking like more of the same, although a double commit out of Cheese could lead to something good for them. No, K-Frost gets in Kaiju's way. It's okay, though. He can recover, and it is 1-0 for the Cheesy Boys.
And that is a situation of just poor positioning coming out from SlaughterHouse. You see 2 players dive in on that ball off the near post, and one was already going up the side. And right now, to start things off, just feels kind of inconsistent with them. We saw, after they had an opportunity, it was in the mid-line, we saw 2 guys going deep downfield. But now we have missed opportunity on that double touch.
Yeah, that would have been so good. That kickoff was perfect right there for Kaiju. That said, Cheese, they quickly regained possession yet again, and we're just seeing more consistent defensive touches coming from the orange side when the opportunities allow for it. That's kind of how come they've been able to mount these counterattacks so quickly, as K-Frost getting a little tricky with it. Not going to be able to set up off the backboard, but that is a double commit, so Pixel's on his own, presses forward, stops the pass, at least momentarily. It should be enough time for the defense to recover, but again, see, those are the kind of touches that aren't helping. Panda just drops it right to Frost, but those touches are much better. Winning that 50 should open the door, but I don't know, something about SlaughterHouse, they don't seem to have that killer instinct in them right now. Even when pushing down the pitch, it's just far too slow, and the defense is able to make the read and make the save.
Yeah, they're definitely getting outpaced by Cheese, it feels like, and the rotations aren't helping because you see them just kind of hesitant as they move down the field. Even right here, you see Pixel moving up, but Bacon trying to wait on that back wall with the positioning very aggressive, and being down only 1. You don't really want to go too high risk, high reward quite yet. Bacon with a good clear. Here comes an opportunity as Night Panda puts it off the bottom corner. Can Pixel beat K-Frost? It's going to be an easy clear here. Drewski getting demoed, though, so it's just 1 man on the offense. Bacon now trying to see if he can get things started for SlaughterHouse. The pass in the middle, but Night Panda not there for it.
I like the idea, not so much the execution. He needs to get those passes, I think, a little further back. That's a swing and a miss from Pixel right there. And now everyone's gone for it. If K-Frost can recover this, that's going to be a goal. No! It's off of that crossbar, but fortunately, Drewski is there to secure that point. So 2-0 right now for Cheese.
And you can tell it seems like SlaughterHouse is trying to replace speed for aggression, and it's not working so far. They're getting a couple opportunities, but I mean, if you do that aggressive rotation where you're trying to push into the box, then you leave yourself so vulnerable on the defensive end, which we saw right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the style I was expecting to see and the goals I was expecting to see at the start of this one, waiting for your opponents to overcommit and then sort of drive that counterattack back. It wasn't the cleanest counterattack, but it was just fast enough. And unfortunately, when those types of goals are scored against you for SlaughterHouse, they're going to be a bit more reserved. This is those downfield passes I was talking about. Good read from Night Panda, though, to see it through. But those are the passes that I think can be scariest in a matchup like this. As an interesting backboard setup for the other team right there. Great bump, though, means Pixel won't be able to fall through. It's going to be up to Bacon, who does buy that time for Pixel to pop it in. So 2-1. Finally, SlaughterHouse gets on the board.
And a little bit of an awkward positioning coming out as the ball sitting right on that near post. It seemed like the Cheese Squad a little confused on how to get that one out. We see both players diving for it. And so that leads to a beautiful setup for Pixel to be able to just push that one home, cleaning that one up. And now a quick goal on the kickoff makes it a tied game.
What happened there? We're going to take a quick little replay. Drewski should have been there to make that save, but Pixel with the perfect touch, just completely schooling Drewski in this one. Fantastic goal from SlaughterHouse. And just like that, it is a 2-2 game. So that lead, that dominating performance that Cheese had been putting on, all of a sudden in like a heartbeat, it is gone. Let's see if they can wrestle control of this game back. They are on that offensive side of the pitch, but Bacon wins a huge 50. Kaiju able to recover it, though, and fortunately for that SlaughterHouse defense, they don't overcommit, but the bumps now starting to play a factor for this Cheese side, setting up K-Frost for a double touch, beats the defender, and they retake that lead.
Wow, what a setup. What a touch from K-Frost. And did he get that flip reset? I don't think he did. It didn't look like, but beautiful play to get. I think that ended up being a triple touch. That is absolutely phenomenal way to get the lead back.
Yeah, that was a beautiful goal right there. And I like how Cheese is now starting to incorporate into the demo and the bump play as well. I think that's going to be more and more effective the longer this series goes on, especially with sort of how SlaughterHouse are starting to fall back a bit more into the defense. Those extra bumps and touches, even if the defense does recover, it means that they're not going to have that consistency. Although Drewski goes high, the ball goes low, and we are tied yet again.
And what an unfortunate read coming out from Drewski. He thought it was going to go high. Bacon able to get the perfect touch to keep it down low and just ride that one all the way home to tie it up. After that beautiful play, you get something like that, and that's just, again, well, as we were saying a moment ago, what happens when you go for those aggressive rotations. It's easy to counter and get a free goal like that.
Absolutely, and another kickoff shot this from Night Panda. This time, though, K-Frost able to play from that corner and make a bit of a save. That's an awkward touch from Bacon. No! Ooh. Oh my! SlaughterHouse just surviving initially. A great pass to K-Frost. However, his shot's not quite accurate enough, and now he's going screaming that wrong way, kind of counterattacking for his opponents, but he bait them all forward. K-Frost sees that opening, but is unable to get the trick shot through.
And we're seeing some really creative setups coming out from Cheese here. We're seeing all sorts of passes off the back wall, off the side wall, into the corner. Who knows where it's going to be going, but they're able to somehow get shots off of all of these touches, and that's really what's being the deciding factor right now. And Kaiju with the fake opportunity, we'll call that one a fake. K-Frost trying to keep it in the midfield, but Pixel wins it. Nobody's home. If they can get the angle, he shoots it in, getting the lead for SlaughterHouse, now 4-3.
Yep, here comes SlaughterHouse. They finally recognize those avenues, those angles, and they're getting those good 50-50, these defensive touches that I've been waiting to see from them. And when they have those opportunities, they're making them count. And now it's kind of pressure back onto Cheese as like, okay, your opponents are now keeping up with your pace. They're now winning some of these 50s. Maybe it's time to mix up your own strategy, because at this rate, you're going to lose game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of stuck to their guns when it comes to how they've been playing throughout this game, but now we're seeing an interesting setup here from K-Frost. Can he get the double? Unable to get low enough for it, but a soft shot across the post again, coming in clutch, but K-Frost is able to put it home, and my oh my, you just see, if you guys have seen Sunless Khan's new video about the RL aimbot, that's what that looked like. It just kept going back and forth, and they had no idea how to play it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have 3 defenders. That was 4 shots. Even in theory, if you send one person to stop one shot, that 4th one shouldn't be able to come through and score, because in theory it shouldn't even be taken. But the tight rotation leads to that, and Kaiju nearly popping it in at the end of regulation. It looks instead like we're going to be having ourselves an overtime unless something crazy happens. Close, not quite. Here we go, overtime, game number 2.
This should be interesting. This one has been back and forth the entire game. Other than that 2-0 lead, nobody's really been able to hold it for too long, so we're going to see who's going to be able to get that advantage. Bacon has Pixel in the middle of the field, passes it across, he can't make contact with it, and so Drewski trying to see if he can beat Night Panda will get it through. A great demo, so Bacon will be able to cut that one off in the corner.
Yeah, let's see if this can lead to a SlaughterHouse attack. Pass backwards, actually intercepted by K-Frost, reading the play. Great map sense right there, and here comes the shot from Drewski. It's off the top crossbar. It's bouncing on the line. Bacon, no, he pops it in. You gotta have at least one goal, and unfortunately for SlaughterHouse, it's gonna cost him game number 2.
You hate to see it. He thought it looked like he might have had it. I was hoping he did. But then we see it just stay along the goal line. Oh, that is so unfortunate. What a way to end the overtime. Again, you hate to see it, but at the same time, I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I just feel like he could have slowed the pace down. There was no one from Cheese actually pushing towards the ball at that moment. And he just came screaming out of right field and just kind of bashed that one in. It did look like he might have had that angle. And I mean, Bacon still has been a defensive savant for the most part in this series. 8 saves throughout 2 games is mighty impressive, but it hasn't been enough to actually take a complete game yet, and we could be looking at yet another sweep despite how close these games actually have been score-wise.
Yeah, we're really getting into that possibility of the sweep. I mean, the big thing to take a look at, too, the one thing that has kind of been the difference maker is still that offensive pressure. Cheese putting on an incredible 19 shots. How often do you see at this level something like that? 19 shots is absolutely insane.
Well, it's how often do you see 19 shots versus 5 shots in a game that finishes 5-4?
That too, yeah. I never even really thought about that.
That's where things kind of get interesting for me, and that's just because SlaughterHouse, you know, when they have those opportunities, they are hitting on them, specifically in that second game. That counterattack strategy that I was hoping to see in game number 1 came through in spades in game number 2 for them. It just wasn't enough in that overtime, unfortunately, for those SlaughterHouse fans. So game number 3, I do think they're going to stick with sort of that counterattack. That has been an area where Cheese, they get a bit over aggressive. They push too far forward, but Cheese also gets goals when driving Mercs. Kaiju making it 1-0 quite quickly for the second time this series.
And who was that? Panda getting murked on that one, just getting beat on the powerful shot to the near post. 81 miles an hour for those of you that use the Imperial system. But 7 seconds in, and what a way to just capitalize on getting that win in game 2. But here comes an opportunity to follow it up. Bacon takes a 50. Is that going to go in? Just off the post. Kaiju barred down, and oh man, things are not looking good for SlaughterHouse here.
I felt like, you know, a fan in like a wrestling that yay no. It was so back and forth right there. Eventually K-Frost is going to push it through, and something I think has awoken in Cheese. That last game may have been a little bit too close for comfort because they're coming at this one with that same aggression that they had when they were behind or when the score was tied in game number 2. I feel like Cheese does have that next level in them when they stop going for trick shots, when they start trying to be fancy, they start going for bumps like that. We start to see more of that team play, and it does feel to me like Cheese might just be a league above SlaughterHouse despite how close these score lines have been.
Yeah, they've definitely been able to show off their mechanical skill. We've seen some really, really strong plays. They just haven't led to goals coming out from Cheese, and I think the shot totals are another reason to kind of show why they're in a different league here. We see a ceiling opportunity from K-Frost is not going to be able to make contact. A good bump by Pixel might be able to open up things downfield, but Night Panda just throwing away possession. And that's one thing that's kind of been sloppy is possession from the SlaughterHouse squad. They haven't really been able to maintain it, and especially on defense is where we've seen that sloppiness.
Yeah, exactly, but that does come from the constant pressure that Cheese is putting on. It's so much harder to make a play happen when you are constantly being challenged, constantly having someone in your face like what Cheese is doing to SlaughterHouse. So I'm not going to put too much blame on them for that. Yes, at the top level, you do have to find ways to overcome it. But like if we were to use the tier system right now, I would say, you know, Cheese is an A. SlaughterHouse is that B+, where they're starting to get it. They understand what they need to do, and they're trying to execute. It's just not all there yet. Fortunately for them, though, there are still months, well, about a month or so, I feel like, before playoffs to really get going. And this team definitely is strong enough to be in that hunt. And I feel like on a good day, they can take Cheese down. I mean, there's still 3 minutes left in this one, but on this day as well, Cheese is just playing at a phenomenal level. They use that little bit more space that they have to their utmost advantage, and they are looking like the stronger team.
Yeah, Cheese is definitely grooving. They're feeling it really well today, as we've seen again. So many really strong plays. A great redirect from Drewski just puts another one home, and the attack keeps going. Now 3-0 as we approach halfway into game number 3.
Hey, look, it was one of those upfield passes that I thought were going to be so effective today, being used very effectively. And that was arguably the cleanest looking goal, actually, I think we've seen this far. Not the fanciest, not the most technically impressive, but just in terms of a nice, clean team play goal, that was actually a thing of beauty. 3-0 right now for Cheese. They're definitely starting to run away with this one. The more I think about it, the more I'm seeing how they change their play style. Game 2, I want to say was a wake-up call, but then at the same time, Kaiju, with the car switch to the Merc, who knows what's actually going through their head. I think they are still having a fair bit of fun with this one, as Kaiju himself makes a nice grab, looking to go for the solo push, and actually did beat out 2 defenders before kind of losing that possession. K-Frost banging it off the backboard, catching his own redirect. No way that goes in. Night Panda stops what would have been the goal of the series.
That would have been maybe goal of the season. The redirect to himself off the back wall would have been amazing. Unfortunately, though, Night Panda standing in the way of keeping it from going to 4-0. We see an opportunity to come in from Bacon, and it almost looked like it was saved, but ended up going off the crossbar. Night Panda trying to keep control. Nice aerial control there, but unfortunately can't do much to get it through Kaiju. And right there, again, we see them moving on it. K-Frost trying to get on the back wall. Drewski pass down to K-Frost, not going to make contact, so now only one man back, and he's rushing for that corner boost. A good pinch to the middle of the field right there, but nobody makes contact. Night Panda will take control of it.
You gotta go for those ones. Twice now the ball is rolling slowly across the box, but no one is there from SlaughterHouse to be able to bang it in. You have to capitalize on those. You really do. Real quick though, just gonna go slightly off topic, back to that, sort of backboard play from Kaiju before. Would that have still counted as a double touch if you use your own backboard to score?
That's a good question. I mean, I think so. Is it a backboard double touch?
Yeah,
redirect? I don't know how you would call that.
I mean, I had never seen that before. If that had gone in, it would have absolutely been insane. However, just under a minute ago, 3-goal differential. Cheese, they're, throwing everyone in the corner. Here comes one of those counterattacks. Night Panda should be able to bop it in. So, okay. Scoreline's definitely a lot more interesting right now. 49 seconds remaining. Some signs of life, perhaps, on this SlaughterHouse team.
Perhaps, or is it the case of the Cheese is just having fun with it now? They're just trying to go for the style points. I mean, you can't really tell unless you're in the comms. It feels like Cheese is feeling pretty good with this one. They've been going for all sorts of different big plays, but off the crossbar, Night Panda goes, picks some shot upper right corner, can't put it in. That could have been one to really swing the momentum there, but unfortunately, still down 2 goals.
Yeah, you can never get too comfortable in Rocket League. I do agree, when you see a triple commit through a corner play, odds are probably, they're not going at 100% anymore. They're easing off the gas a little bit, but you can see SlaughterHouse, they're still willing to try and make plays happen. Night Panda tries to pass it to himself. Bacon, all right, kind of gets stuck in no man's land, and unfortunately, with time being the biggest enemy for SlaughterHouse, 13 seconds remaining, that may have been their last gasp of air.
Unfortunate, because they did play, again, very solid game. Even though the scoreline shows 3-0 for the series, they did a very good job of being able to keep the Cheese offense from just lighting up the scoreboard. I mean, they had, 5 goals in game 2, but they stuck right with them. Game 1 was 1-0, and then this one 3-1. So regardless of, the 50 shots that we saw from Cheese, only managing a few goals is not too bad.
Absolutely. And again, it was a case, though, Cheese, just that faster team, that cleaner team. You could tell when they switched on and were like, okay, we're going to score now. It felt like they could score at whim. Otherwise, they were just always so content to keep shot after shot after shot on against that SlaughterHouse side, who in game number 2 recognized what was happening and did find those defensive avenues that they had to make for a very exciting game 2. However, Game 3, Cheese, they did sort of drop back that a little bit more. They sort of shut down a lot of those counterattacks. And, well, they take this one, a 3-0 clean sweep victory. The brooms are out, and we're kind of cleaning up that SlaughterHouse. We're sweeping it up, making it look nice and pretty come playoff time.
Yeah, and Cheese, I mean, they just kicked into another level in that first 30 seconds alone of the game where they were able to put it up 2-0 in no time. And then they were just able to sit back, kind of play, relax, have fun with it. They weren't as stressed, it seemed like, on the field as we saw them going for these ceiling passes. They were going for backboard double touches from their own wall, all sorts of crazy plays to try and put up highlight reels. But a very good series from both sides. Cheese comes out undefeated. Now they have the sole first place in the standings.
Yeah, that is all theirs right now. And with the way how they're playing, I don't know if anyone is going to be able to dethrone them. That was just such a fantastic performance from the squad. Granted, every day you might see something different. However, Cheese continues to play like this. I think they are the team to beat, really, from both conferences, from what I've been able to. Now, I haven't seen Bing Bong play yet.
Yeah,
they
we've yet
sound
to
pretty
see
scary.
them.
They look pretty scary. I would love to see Bing Bong versus Cheese grand final, maybe, but these two teams I think are probably those two standout teams right now, and it's good to sort of see and sort of get everyone aware. All right, this is what you're up against. This is the level that you're going to have to play at if you want to take this Upsurge Premier League.
All right, so speaking of the standings here, let's hop on over and take a look real quick one more time before we wrap things up. So with that win, Cheese, as we said, is sole first place. Phoenix Rebirth, if they win tonight, could be in that second, third place slot with SlaughterHouse. But yeah, Bing Bong, as you were saying, over on the Dominus Conference, they're tied with Northwood University, and they actually go head-to-head next week, so both teams might be undefeated going into that one. Again, that depends on how results are tonight, but Bing Bong has been crushing it, not only in the Premier League, but they have been crushing it in other tournaments across the Rocket League community. Just seeing on Twitter, I mean, they come out with different wins each week or really strong performances in tournaments, and it's just kind of crazy to see what's happening with them. And so that's, I mean, kind of what you expect from a team that's going to be in the, whatever they're going to call it now, the RLRS or the RLCS or whatever, but they're going to be up in that competition. So they're a top tier squad, and they're going to be hard to compete with.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's one of the situations where, yes, they're harder to compete with, but I'm guarantee you every single one of these teams here, specifically the ones that really feel like they have a chance to win, to improve, and to make sort of those big professional runs in the future, they are salivating at that opportunity to go up against Bing Bong because they can learn so much, and they might even be able to pull off that win. So I think Bing Bong has a big target on their back as well. As being, sort of that top team. And from what I saw from Cheese, I think Cheese can compete. I really do. Cheese looked so good when they were switched on. Now, whether or not they can stay switched on for an entire series, that is still yet to be seen. But they made that other undefeated team in the Octane Conference kind of look, a league below. And that is horrifying for everyone else in that Octane group. So I'm excited to see where this tournament goes moving forward.
Yeah, me as well. I mean, they definitely showed that they are at another level compared to everybody else tonight with that strong win against SlaughterHouse, a team, again, that's only dropped 3 games all season long. So now they've dropped a total of 6. But now looking forward to next week for these two teams. Cheese takes on Valkyrie. Valkyrie's currently sitting at 2-2. And then SlaughterHouse taking on Phoenix Rebirth. So battle for second place there should be really interesting. Can SlaughterHouse just bounce back, or are they going to continue that drop through the standings?
Yeah, that's what we're going to see. I think SlaughterHouse will bounce back. I do think there's a lot on that team to like and to be proud of. They never were really making unforced errors in that game. It was just sort of, the odd awkward touch or the odd 50-50 not going their way. And perhaps they were a little bit slower, but it wasn't like, they were unforced errors, swings and misses, inconsistency from the mechanical side. And those teams that have that consistency down usually have consistent results. So I do believe SlaughterHouse is going to bounce back. I mean, Ruffy against Vexo, it's going to be must win for them, I believe. But I have confidence that that team is actually going to bounce back, and we probably will be seeing them again come playoff time.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're going to be able to take playoffs. I mean, with 2 weeks left, they're in pretty good standing at 4-1. The worst that they could finish is 4-3. So, I mean, even at that does put them, if they were to lose out from here, 5th place, worst case scenarios. So even a win at that point might be able to put them into the top 4, which qualify for playoffs. But with 2 weeks left, I think, again, this one loss, definitely, it hurts, but I don't think it's one to just totally demoralize you guys as a team.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. So, I don't know. Sometimes finding that, securing win can be the toughest, but when you do get it, it is sort of a monkey off the back. You can rest a bit easy. And Slaughterhouse, they're ready for that release. I think Cheese, with that 5-0, definitely have secured themselves a playoff spot for sure. Even if something crazy happens and they lose the next two, they are definitely in. So, another congratulations to them for that. Yeah, wherever we go from here. Going to be very curious. Unfortunately, I won't be with you next week. I'm just saying that right now, and I'm super sorry. But
Hey,
I'll be
it's
back
all
in 2
right.
weeks.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so next week we'll have to see. It might just be myself. We might be having somebody else join me in the booth. But thank you so much, Formal, for joining us yet again, and we'll probably see you again in week 7. But that's all we have for tonight. So we see Cheese get the sweep. And we just keep seeing these 3-0, 3-1s rolling through. No series going out to 5, at least on stream yet. So maybe next week we'll have one. We'll be switching over to the Dominus Conference. So make sure to, whenever we put out the updated standings this weekend, be sure to follow us on Twitter at UpsurgeGG. That way you can see how everything shaped up throughout the Octane Conference and the Dominus Conference. And then also later in the week, on Friday during the afternoon, we put out what team is going to be on stream, so you can see what matchup from the Dominus Conference we will have for you guys. Might be that undefeated setup of Bing Bong and Northwood. We could have a battle for 3rd place or a battle to get into the playoffs. Never know. So make sure to follow us over there. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow us here at the Upsurge Rocket League Twitch channel. Hit that if I could talk, hit that heart up at the top for the follow, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can get notified when we go live with top tier Rocket League action. I mean, we saw a phenomenal game tonight. We've seen great games throughout the past 2 weeks now. So make sure you stick around with us next Friday, 8 p.m. EST. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you again, Formal, for joining us. And I hope all of you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening and have a great weekend.